So this is Tom right here, and just under a year ago, he was stuck in door-to-door sales, which ultimately he dreaded. He was working 16-hour days, he didn't have any time for himself, and he ultimately just wanted more out of life. Flash forward 5 months later, Tom was able to drop out his traditional sales job and double his full-time income as a remote high-ticket closer, only working 5 hours a day, always traveling the world and fulfilling his dream, working in countries like Spain, Cape Town, while skiing in France, and he's actually in Valencia right now. Today, or when this was filmed, I invited Tom to the golf simulator in my apartment here in London to share his experience being in the industry 1 year and take a few swings, explain why and how we got to live in this sales laptop lifestyle, and hopefully inspire you guys in the process. We're gonna run it right back and start with obviously like what got you into high-ticket sales in the first place?
Yeah, good question. So from years and years and years ago, I've always wanted to start a business. Didn't want to go into the typical 9-to-5 route. I just didn't feel it. So I thought, okay, what can I do? Went to university, did a few gigs on the side, tried to sell Amazon, all these things. I quickly realized that I need skills, right? I need skills. I can't just go into a business, expect to make millions in a day. So after failing with a property sourcing company, after dropping out of uni, studying business, I thought, okay, what's the best skill I can learn? Sales. Like, I'm pretty good at chatting shit, pretty good at speaking to people. So I thought, you know what? That's what's been on the starting jobs of pretty much most people on the Forbes list. So let's do sales. So I jumped into a sales and marketing role. Went on Indeed, looked for loads of sales jobs with a lot of pressure from my parents after dropping out of uni, and applied for one, got the role. Went into the office, and midday they said, okay, sweet, we're all leaving, we're all going. So, we're going where? Turns out they didn't say it in the job description, but it was door-to-door sales. I didn't know this, but we went out, it was summer, and I didn't mind it. You know, chatting shit to people on the doors, building relationships, getting on with people, and didn't get any sales on my first day, but yeah, got an knack to it. Turns out I did that for about a year. One thing about the door-to-door sales job, as much as I enjoyed it, as much as it was fast progression, I was learning a lot, it came with sacrifices. So I didn't have time to go to the gym. You know, there was a bit of a toxic culture, meaning you've just got to work. 6 days a week, 14, 16 hours a day. So I didn't have time to go to the gym, like literally no time whatsoever, maybe on a Sunday. And the main thing is I didn't have time to eat healthily. You know, I was on the field, they call it, eating £3 meal deals from Tesco, if I'm lucky. Even on a bad day, maybe a corner shop sandwich, which, you know,
you don't want to hit them up.
you don't want to hit them up. But yeah, I just realized, look, like, money is not worth sacrificing health. And there's vehicles where I can have health and money at the same time. I just saw myself deteriorating. And relationships. Like, I had a girlfriend and I wasn't paying any attention to her, just for money. So after a year of door-to-door sales, went through a winter, knocking on doors in the snow, in the rain, building a team of around 9, managing that team, I realized that selling low-ticket products and selling for someone else, it just wasn't going to get me where I want to go. You know, I've got all of the juice out of that door-to-door sales job, and I thought, what's the next level of sales? Naturally, I thought, why don't I just sell more expensive products? You know, get more commission off something that costs more. You know, I'm guessing it's probably going to be the same amount of effort than knocking on someone's door and just selling to someone randomly.
So if Tom's story is resonating with you so far and you want to get into the world of online sales, quit the corporate gig, buy back a lot of your time and ultimately make more money, just like he has, I have something for you. So I have over 300 people inside my community, Club Closer, many of which are making 5 to 10K a month and some scaling up to 30 to 40K a month with high ticket sales. Not only do you get direct coaching from the likes of me, Tom, and my other coaches, but you also get direct access to the community of over 300 sales reps doing the same thing, and a network to get you connected with sales roles once you're trained up in the group. If this sounds like something that might be helpful to you, I'll leave a link in the description of this video.
I was putting a ton of effort, so much effort, and I just knew I wasn't getting compensated for it. Fair enough, I was 20, 21, I've not got loads of value to provide, but managing a team of 9, you would think I'd get paid more. Yeah. Wasn't getting paid the best. So I thought, there's vehicles where I can get rewarded more for my time and my effort, right? So I knew about this space from Instagram, Facebook, online, YouTube. Didn't take the jump, and I thought, you know what, time to leave. So quit my door-to-door job, left all my team. This was the exact same time I was moving out into a new apartment in Manchester, so it was a pretty uncertain time. And I asked a good mate of mine, I have no idea how to get into this space. What would you recommend? He said, I know a guy called Marcus. It's a good mate of mine. Jump on a call, see what happens. And yeah, it just happened. I took the plunge, joined Club Closer, and here we are.
Yeah, so two things you mentioned there were you dropped out of uni, which is pretty bold in itself. You don't hear of too many people that drop out of uni. Normally they just sit through. And obviously you're managing a team of 9. You're on probably a pretty good career trajectory already. What was like the fuel and the fire for you to kind of quit those two things that could have been good?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, and I grew up in just a bit of context. I grew up in quite like a small, leafy town. A lot of people with a similar mindset. A lot of people doing the same thing, same job, same results. Average middle class family, which isn't bad. It's all preference. I thought, look, if I carry on doing the same easy option as the average, then I'm going to have average results, right? So I knew that even if it's pretty scary, nerve-wracking, for me to get an above average life or above average results, I need to do something that the average don't do. That being drop out of uni, that being leave a door-to-door sales job, which could have got me to the position where I could be earning 50, 100 grand a year. But that's all it'll ever allow me to earn. So I thought, you know what, it's now or never. But I was terrified, I'll be honest. Like, a lot of people online say, yeah, no, I knew what I was gonna do. It's like, bro, I was terrified of taking the jump, thinking, okay, is this wrong? Everyone's telling me not to do it. My parents, had a few arguments with them. But yeah, I just thought it's part of it. If it was easy, everyone would do it. If it was just such a comfortable decision, then it must lead to average results.
I also think like so many people like fixate on like the worst case scenario, and they think like, what if this happens? What if that happens? But the reality is like worst case scenarios aren't actually the worst case scenarios. Like they're way less.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, you quit your door-to-door job, you tried high ticket sales, say it didn't work out, 2 months later you'd probably just land another door-to-door job.
I said the same thing. I said, look, worst case scenario ever is I'm back in the same situation as 99% of the whole population, which is their life. Do you know what I mean?
So you obviously dropped out of uni,
Yeah.
which is like one form of education. What then motivated you to decide like, okay, cool, if I want to get into sales, high ticket sales, I should buy into a program or a course? Because like many people, obviously there's a lot of stigma around buying courses and the info product space, so I'll be keen to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it was the lack of coaching in uni. So I studied business, but they were just teaching you how to scale up the corporate ladder, which is pretty weird. Like I didn't really learn anything. And I thought of opportunity costs. One thing I have learned, in my uni days, research and stuff online, is opportunity costs. You see loads of successful people saying, it's costing you 100 grand a year, not knowing how to make 100 grand a year. So I thought, look, I could try be scarce and try save all my money and just like put it in a nice little pot and do it the long way. Or I could sacrifice that short term and just save like a year or two of making mistakes. I think it comes down to confidence as well. Like I was pretty convinced that, look, whatever means, I'm gonna make it, as they call it, and become successful. So if investing how do I put it? At some point in my life, investing this part in a course is going to mean nothing to me. It's going to not be as much value as it is now. So bite the bullet now, be the person I want to become. And yeah, it still was hard. It still was hard, like taking the jump and super nerve-wracking, but I guess it's fighting that and stepping into that person before being it.
What's crazy is if you think about it, you paid like $5,000 for a coaching program that has then made you at least double your investment within a year. Like people want to invest, they want to go into ISA, they want to go into like buying these investments in the hope to get like 10% each year. But investing in yourself, like you've literally I don't even know what number you put on it.
It's definitely been more than 10x by now, but I guess it's like who you're more confident in, the markets or yourself.
Yeah.
It's like you saying,
more control over?
yeah, 100%, man. It's like you saying, no, I'm not going to invest in myself. I'm going to do it the long way. It's pretty much saying that, okay, I'd rather put my future in the hands of maybe a stock market or crypto than myself. I have more confidence in something else that's uncontrollable than myself. And it's like, it just makes sense, man.
I always find it, like, the analogy I really like is the video game one. Like, if you ever played like Skyrim or like Minecraft or like even like Fortnite, well, probably not Fortnite, but like you're always investing like back into a character. Do you ever play Skyrim?
Bro, I bashed Skyrim.
You know, you used to buy those scrolls.
Yeah.
And all the scrolls like were more skills.
Yeah.
And they made your character better and obviously allowed you to like kill more people, or like people do that in video games and it's so second nature, but in real life it's like people don't do that. People don't go and buy things that actually make them better. They're not buying a new suit of armor.
It's pay to play, isn't it?
Yeah, literally
and
is.
There's people that know how to make 100 grand a year, a million a year, whatever. It just makes sense. Why not just pay them to teach you? And it'll save you a year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years of scrambling around trying to figure it out on your own.
Exactly.
And there's another argument that it's going to cost more to do on your own.
Yeah, not knowing.
Because opportunity cost. Look, let's say I didn't invest a year ago. Let's say I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it on my own.
Yeah, and you were still doing door to door.
Yeah, bro, like it would cost me 10k a month, not like 50,
knowing.
100 grand, not knowing how to do that, right?
You obviously joined Club Closer. First few months, you started getting your head down and getting to work. I want to know, like, what was that first few months like? Expectations versus reality, because I think a lot of people are unknown on how to get started and what the initial steps look like. I'm keen to hear your...
Yeah, so when I jumped into the space, I was pretty open-minded, had a few limiting beliefs, but I just tried to just take as much action as possible. You know, in the past, I had done loads of theory, loads of videos and all that, and I just realized that's probably what's held me back. I just wanted to take as much action as possible, jump on practice calls, practicing with other people in the program, actually building my experience. And then when it came to actually finding an offer, just reaching out to as many people as possible, networking as much as possible, providing as much value as possible to different people in the program, different closes in the space, and not just taking. And
yeah, how can you come across as an asset
yeah,
to a business owner?
Yeah, because a lot of people that I've seen in this space, they just take. You know, you get those messages on Instagram, oh, I'll do your marketing for you.
I want to make money off you.
Yeah.
Taking your sales calls.
100%. I thought, how can I stand out from the crowd? You know, if I was an off-roader, if I was a business owner looking for a closer, what would I look for? So I just reverse engineered it and I just tried to provide as much value as possible, reaching out to as many people as possible.
Yeah, that actually perfectly goes into my next question, which was sort of like, obviously first few months, a lot of learning, a lot of implementing, a lot of action. Then obviously it came time to sort of find your first offer. And obviously like, it's not uncommon to work a few offers and work your way up.
Yeah.
Just like you would in a corporate job, you want to scale, but here you can scale way quicker, providing you have the skills. What was the first few offers like? How did they look like? What were they like?
Yeah.
Because I bet you've got some stories.
First offer was someone who reached out to me on LinkedIn, so I didn't outreach to him. He outreached to me, which I don't know, shows a bit about the offer. It was a short form content agency, so they pretty much edited short form content for real estate investors in the US. And there was like loads of packages. It was a bit of a cowboy company, I'll be honest, and didn't really close anything.
Make any money?
No money. No money.
How long were you
2-3 weeks. No, okay. 2 weeks. Took a few calls, but I really took it as, okay, practice calls are a bit different to real calls. I'm just going to get as much experience as possible. Did get quite a bit of experience.
Yeah,
you know, jumped
calls.
on my first call and some really rude woman just being like, well, I've not got time. It was like, shit, well, is this what it's like?
Reality hits.
Yeah, and then it all sort of fell into place. A really good opportunity that I was networking for came alongside my desk, and I took it. Like, I had no experience whatsoever in the online space. Really got on with the sales manager, started to get rocking and rolling with them, a pretty big company in the space, and I started to do decent figures fairly quickly. Yeah, so that offer, I jumped on that offer about a month and a half into the program, joining the program. And first month I did about 3.6k USD. Second month hit about 5.4k USD, which is more money than I've ever earned before. It's pretty surreal how I could earn money that quickly. I didn't think it was possible, but I guess it happened. But then I managed to jump on the closing team with Club Closer itself, which isn't like a usual path. And I'll go into a bit more about, of course, you know, how that came about. And it came about to what I was talking about before, you know, providing value first. What I try to do is just provide loads of value in the community, help other people, share my wins and get myself out there so people know that I'm doing all right. I also remember pestering you, asking you questions.
You were quite annoying at times. Good.
And I remember one day you approached me and you were like, let's jump on a call. You said, seems like you got a good mindset. Seemed like you're getting some pretty decent wins. I want to detach myself from the sales side and focus on bettering the products and bettering the community. So love you to start taking a few calls part-time for me. I started to take a few calls part-time with you, I remember. Then after a month, I said, you know what, I'm going to go all in with Club Closer. Reason being...
We sold you on it.
Yeah.
I had to sell you on it.
And I just realised it's so easy for me to sit on calls with so much confidence. I've been that 21-year-old broke guy earning no money, scared to take the jump, to doing all right in this space. So I feel like it's pretty easy for me to convey conviction, to sit on the calls and say, okay, you're either a good fit or a bad fit. And people could smell it as well. You know, if I'm honestly trying to be like sincere and saying, look, I know you'd kill this. This is why you'd kill it. People can almost, they can just tell, right?
Like you're a walking testimonial.
Yeah.
Like you're the walking proof that it works, and then you're the one selling it back to them or helping them come into the space and into the space because you're like, yeah, well, I've done it, I know. You're not just selling some random and for a product offer that you've never done before, which obviously many guys do and many guys have success in. That we prefer to have guys that have actually gone through the program and have seen success.
Yeah, man, 100%. I think it's something you can just tell. You know, if I didn't honestly believe what I was saying, if I didn't believe someone was really going to have success, and people can just smell it. They can just tell. So reason why I just went all in is because it just makes sense. You know, it's just easy.
Sweet. You obviously now work with Club Closer. It's been a year. You're making like what, 10, 15k a month now? What are your honest thoughts on the industry, on the space, the online space as a whole, having been in it now for a year and been a part of it for a year?
Yeah, 100%. Look, honest thoughts is it's extremely lucrative. It's very fast paced, but it's not for everyone. You know, sales in the online space, or sales in general, it's a fast paced environment. It's a high performing environment. If you're not willing to put that extra bit of work in, if you're not willing to, you know, spend hours reviewing your calls, improving yourself, working on your mindset, then it's just not for you. You know, it's a high performing game, but extremely rewarding.
I think that's why you love it though, right? Like what you put in is what you get out. There's nowhere to hide. Like
Literally.
Sales is very much like you eat what you kill. There's no like, you can't sit it, if you're having a shit day, you can't sit behind a screen and just like click a button and get away with it. So no, get out there and get after it. It's
accountability, and it's what I was missing in the door-to-door role. You know, I was thinking, I'm doing all this work, but I'm not getting rewarded. You know, X amount of work equals X amount of results in the online space. So I know that, look, if I work, I don't know, maybe this weekend or a late night, I know it's going to be rewarded, right? So yeah.
And then I guess like the final question really would be for anybody that was in a similar position to you a year ago, doing door-to-door, doing corporate sales, maybe even quitting uni, and they were considering coming into the online space, maybe following a very similar path to you in terms of like becoming an IT closer. What's the advice? Like, what's the couple like nuggets of wisdom you can give them that you wish you knew before you got into it?
I think everyone knows it, but it's probably not what people want to hear, but it's just lean into uncertainty. Like I sat down at the end of last year and I thought, okay, why was this my best year ever in my life? And it seemed to be the year that I leaned into the most fear, did the most uncertain tasks and took the most jumps, and I earned the most money, right? So whether it be anything, and I see it all the time, I see guys jump on calls with myself who have so much motivation, so much fire and everything what it takes, but they just don't want to take that jump.
Because they want everything planned out in meticulous steps for them. And if you leave no room for uncertainty, you can never have a different outcome. Like Joe
100%.
Dispenza talks about it all the time. If your life is so planned out and so like, you know what every next step you're going to make is, there's no like, it's not going to be any different than what you thought it was going to be. Like there's no room for massive improvements or massive breakthroughs or like you potentially even thinking about doing high ticket closing in the first place.
Yeah.
You need that little bit of like uncertainty going into things. Because if you knew the outcome all the time, it wouldn't make it exciting.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like drastic upsides.
And everyone would do it, do you know what I mean? Then money wouldn't be worth anything.
Exactly, everyone would do it because they're like, okay, if I do X, Y, and Z, I'm going into it. But if you do X, Y, and Z and you do it well and you go into it head first, like you did, throw yourself in the deep end, spend time in the community, mix with other members, or even if you don't join a program, throw yourself into the space and be like consumed by it so much so that like your whole environment is that you're gonna have success with it. You're gonna find success with it.
Yeah. I'd say one thing to wrap it up, and one thing I say to a lot of people who not just want to get into high ticket closing, but any like online business model or way of making money online is the hardest bit isn't the sales calls, isn't the networking, it isn't providing value, all this crap. It's literally just taking the jump. You know, the amount of people who jumped into the program or jumped into any type of uncertain fear, whether it be quitting uni, quitting the job, as soon as it's happened, they feel like, oh shit, well, like, there's a lot of relief. Do you know what I mean? And I just
surrender to the journey, surrender to the outcome, or the potential outcomes.
100%. And I think a lot of us know which uncertainties to go into and which jumps to take that's going to get you there. But it's actually thinking, you know what, I'm going to do this. But
100%. Some of the best.
Yeah, man.